Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Oh my gosh, you guys, welcome back to Get Tailored Live. We are so excited to be here, and we wanted to start with the Thunderdome song that Adrianna Farina, who is my co-host and with me today,
Hello.
at Get Tailored revived. And those of you that used to be members, we had a membership. We have a lot of episodes we're going to be putting out for free on YouTube that are no longer memberships. And every other week, we're going to be live. And we're going to have different songs to intro until we find the right one. So the theme and the joke for us when we're doing our events like Lemurian Life Expo or the things that we're teaching every day or the courses or when we have a new team member come on is what, Adrianna?
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Welcome
Whenever
to
we pretty much meet anyone new, you get initiated.
or rather, we're initiating ourselves.
Yeah.
So the Thunderdome, what is that about? It's about really stepping into just who we are and being spiritual beings, having a human experience, quirky, silly, fun, deep, raw, real, emotional, not emotional. It's really the diversity of humanity. And for those of you that have been members on the show, you know that I'm always having all different kinds of people, all different walks of life coming on, or maybe it's different topics and not people. And so the Thunderdome just makes sense. Plus, it's an inside joke because we're crazy, quirky fools, and we really invite all the other crazy, quirky fools to come and join us. So welcome. I know. So what ended up happening was we took a break and started building all these other things and being a part of other things like Neil's project with Portal to Ascension at Conscious Life Expo. And then we went to New Living Expo, which Neil just took over. And so now we're going to actually be doing the Sound Sanctuary next year, which we're really freaking excited about. Oh my gosh. We're going to have
fun.
such diversity of things going on, and it's going to be so much about community and everybody being featured and really not picking one featured focal point, but really bringing in the feature of all kinds of different people bringing sound to our lives. So anybody that's interested in being a part of that, please reach out to us. You can email us at gettailored.love. Just go to hello@gettailored.love and tell us what you do and send us a track of your music and how you want to share what you do. So I am so excited because one of my best friends, Adrianna, is my co-host. And before it was Ruben Langdon, who has now moved on to Japan, and he's doing some amazing projects that when it's time to announce, we will. And he'll probably come on and talk about it himself. But in the meantime, I want to talk about what Adrianna does.
Oh, goodness.
Adrianna is just like this amazing person. She's really trailblazing what hairology is and how it's so much more than just going and getting your hair done. And it's more about going and really tapping into yourself. And I am indigenous. I'm Druid. I'm Native American. I'm also Egyptian. And, I'm a good American. I'm a plethora of things. And through that journey, one thing that's been really important and consistent in all of those belief systems that I am so grateful to learn from is our hair. And it's because our hair is sacred and it holds our memory. And Adrianna has this really, really unique ability to be able to bring yourself into your hair and really talk to the people and fill into what they need, but also just give them an experience. So her space in the Bay Area is totally bohemian. It's like a place you want to go sit in the back and watch all the butterflies. And she's got these like crazy passion flowers with all these caterpillars getting ready to become butterflies. And I am like a crazy butterfly lady. So it's a big part of that. So, anyways, without further ado, Adrianna Farina, and I'd love for you to share you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you, first of all. I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, I mean, do you want me to talk about doing hair? Like, there's so many things I feel like I can do with that.
No, just do you, baby. What do you
Oh,
feel like talking about?
I mean, I kind of feel like
I
talking about the salon a
talk
little bit.
about being honest.
Yeah, I'm like, we can go so many directions with all of this. I guess we started with the salon. It's just like, I've been there
Yeah.
for, I don't know, almost like 5 years, and it's kind of like my heart in four walls. I have this like you said, the beautiful passion flower that just like it feels like it just protects and envelops the space. So it really started, I feel like really it started, I've only had it since 2023, but it started back in like 2020 when I was like, ooh, people are coming into the chair and they are like super not okay. So it really was born from just wanting to create a space where people could just like be cozy and it's just like a space that holds space. So kind of like whatever you need. And then I kind of have been like, okay, well, like who am I and like what do I do in the world? Because it's more than just hair, right? And so I guess I just like try to be a person that just holds space. And sometimes I hold space on Google Meets and sometimes we're at expos and I'm holding space or just whatever. Like it just is kind of like whatever I'm needed in the moment of wherever I'm at. That's what I try to be. So that's that's me. And I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so we
That's
are
my
definitely
basil.
parents. I mean, that's one of the big things. I really invite everybody. I mean, this is Get Tailored Revived, and Get Tailored is about form fitting ourselves to our own soul and what that is to us. And so it literally can go in any direction. It could be about what you're living in your life, what you're choosing for a career, what you're choosing for your spiritual path, what your collaboration of that is, and how you're coming into your own world, because it's really about diversity and bridging humanity. And Adriana, when she's got people sitting in her chair or she's talking to people, she's just holding space, she says, but really it's just her being her and being a safe space for people to be themselves. And I really want to Get Tailored to embody that. I wanted to embody us being ourselves. So starting with the Thunderdome and being silly and being fun and being in our hearts is really, I feel like, what a lot of us just want to live, right? We want to live that. We want to work with our friends because we're all silly and a bunch of smartasses. And why not? It's like people have so many different ways where they feel like something should be. And I feel like it's all correct. I don't feel like there is a wrong way as long as we're not harming others and we're really accepting free will. And yeah, exactly. Hashtag why not? That's
Wait,
exactly
I love that.
why not?
So yeah. No, I super love that. I feel like it's also like being open to like the mystery and rolling with like whatever comes up. Like it started really at LLE, and at LLE it's just this like beautiful concentrated specific pack of energy, right? Because it's all this like it's ceremony. And you're just kind of like open to whatever comes up and just like learning to rock and roll with it. Like I will never get over the fact that we just got ourselves last year dialed in. We're like, oh my God, look at us. We're thriving at LLE. And then all of a sudden a dog just comes and the sweetest dog, the kindest, most beautiful, loving dog who just wanted a snack and to play it just comes and is like ping ponging off of like beautiful, gorgeous pillows in the vendor room and like was just like trying to eat lunch. And it was just like
Right.
ridiculous. And I was like, that's the
$5,000
Thunderdome. Like,
gongs. It's like $5,000 gongs. David's like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, there's like this beautiful ancient gong just like in the room and he's like bouncing off the pillows next to it. And I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that's the Thunderdome. And we just
that's
like figured it out and we laughed later.
so yesterday I met this beautiful couple, and the husband's from Peru and he's a Caro. He works with the Caros. And for those of you that don't know what Caros are, so you've got like Peruvian shamans, and a lot of them are the ones that are serving ayahuasca, and you're drinking the tree and having that experience. The Caros, they don't do it that way. They're more like a Native American indigenous, where they have like the seven sacred ceremonies and things, and it's different. And I really, really love that, because I feel like a lot of what's shown in Peru is really just the ayahuasca ceremonies and just that way of shamanism. And I feel like that's beautiful. And whoever's path that is, freaking right on. at the same time, I really want to honor the eclecticity and like the support of that, because the Karos is another way of indigenous learning about Pachamama and about the universe and how you love space. So the couple wanted to meet and bring some of their beautiful, beautiful sacred medicine and their sacred mesas and all the different things that they have, that they want to sell. And part of it is the alpaca hats. And they go back to the indigenous tribe and help them sustain and grow. So they came in and he says, "Do you want to have an experience?" And I said, "Okay, sure." And I wanted to make sure they were Karos because, you got to kind of experience. I want to know what I'm walking into, so they explained. I went to their house and I'm in the back of the house, and it was amazing because, my indigenous background and my adopted father, who is my ex-husband's father, he was the bear people. They're the bear clan. And, I'm like sitting there, and the whole time this gentleman's like, "I've been in Shasta and I haven't seen a bear." And I was like kind of surprised because we have a lot of bears. And I said, "Oh, you'll see a bear." So I come the next day to do this ceremony with him, and I'm in his backyard, or it's not even backyard. His back of his house is the woods. And so I'm in the woods and I'm laying down, and we do the whole ceremony. And there was this part where I was being asked to manifest, to bring in prayer. And I'm laying down. It was so beautiful. And I'm like sitting there and I'm working on clearing my mind, and just not being an overthinker and just kind of just being in my heart and allowing the process. And all of a sudden, what comes through is I start seeing a vision I had a while ago. I was on a vision quest, and it was a vision with a bear. And this bear was holding me and keeping me safe. And it's a long story of this whole journey I went through on that vision quest, but the point was that I was feeling safe. It was a space of safety. And when he began the ceremony yesterday, it was all about go to your safe space. So here I am, I'm in my safe space, which is, just so you guys know, my safe space is in my meditation is a land of fairies and elementals and dragons and animals. And I have like this cottage, and the cottage is in the woods, and there's like this light beaming down on it. And you go in and it's all the little animals, kind of like Snow White style. And I'm like petting the squirrels, which is kind of my real life. Like I had a squirrel yell at me yesterday because Ben had taken all the seeds from the house and the squirrel had been eating the seeds for like a month. And then it literally was like yelling at me as I'm getting ready to go see this Caro. And he's like, "Brr," and I'm like, "Okay, I will get you some squirrel food." It's kind of my life. So of course my safe space is full of all of that. So anyways, I'm laying there in my safe space and I'm remembering this vision quest. And then all of a sudden, it's this manifesting moment. And I'm like, I'm manifesting a bear to come and visit this man. And today, I said today. And then I was like, "Ooh, maybe I'm asking for too much." 72 hours is what I said. And so I went through the whole thing and I left. And then that night, as soon as the sun set and it started to get dark, they sent me a video of a bear sitting right where I was laying. And he's like, "You brought me a bear." And I was like, "My gosh, spirit brought them a bear." So I wanted to share that story because I feel like even having the show get tailored and holding space and having the dog run through the event, it's like these animals play a huge role in our life, even when we don't know it. Even when I had a wasp in my car. My windows were down. You'd think he would be in my face. No, he curled up in the front of my freaking dash. And I'm like driving with a wasp in the car. So it's these moments of not panicking and having understanding. Or I was in the pet store the other day and we walked past a display of tarantulas, which I want to get one. And so we walked past this display of tarantulas. You can't see them. I just felt it. And I was like, "Oh, there's tarantulas." I turned around, which I have never done. And I walked over this one and I turned his box around. And he looked nervous. He was like shaking, this little tarantula. And I started talking to him. I was like, "Buddy, you're safe. It's okay. Wherever you go, you're going to be loved." And then I looked at the other tarantulas and all of them had made their homes. He was the only one that didn't make his home. And now I regret not buying him. I feel like I need to go back and buy this tarantula because it was a couple days ago. But my point is that, guys, we have life around us, no matter if we're in the city or the woods or in her bohemian backyard. And I feel like it's important for us to embrace that, to embrace the medicine and to be in that. So I'm encouraging everybody. I want everybody to message us on gettailored.love, to message us on whatever media you're on. I want to hear about your animal experiences. I want to hear about what you're doing in your world and whatever. It could be a cat, a dog, a lizard. Dude, I literally pet a bee. Okay. Like it could be whatever you want, but I want to hear your your experience.
Yep, that checks out.
That checks out. But dude, I've
That's
never
so
been with a koala before. I'm a little jealous of that picture.
it'd be fun.
I
That's
know.
so
I want
fun.
okay. So I'm just encouraging you guys, please get on there. Let's get interactive with each other. I want to hear your story. I want to hear what you're doing. And if you're doing something that you want promoted, that you want to promote it at CLE, at NLE, at Portal Ascension, at gettailored.love, at Interview with Ed, whatever you're doing, like we want to be community and be support. That's what Get Tailored is about. So share your animal story, put any kind of website, promote the
Yes.
144. That's what we're doing right now. I'm promoting the 144. So it's so funny because like I just got that message from my producer guy and I know you didn't hear him. So I just parroted what he said.
That's
But
so
seriously,
funny. Wait, I forgot. I thought I was like, oh look, he's coming on. That's what we wanted. No, that was just for us.
Nope, he's the
So-
eye in the sky.
So do you want to tell right straight up? The only time we're ever going to take direction from him, probably.
I
Don't
know.
get used to it.
Don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, you get like an hour or two, maybe a couple times a month. No, do you want to tell everybody what the 144 is exactly? Like, what is the 144?
Ooh, what's the 144 to you? Because you're part of it.
Oh, I won't drink water yet.
I just redirected that.
I was like, okay, never mind. Okay, the 144 is a bunch of businesses that are all on, a somewhat similar mission, basically to show up in their hearts and help people in a variety of ways through a variety of different types of businesses, like even businesses, that seemingly aren't spiritual, right? Quote unquote, I'm going to say in quotes. And it's all just us kind of like working together and supporting each other and promoting each other. And, yeah, I mean, I think that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like what it's about for me. So I guess I should tell the story of how it even came about. Right?
That's why I asked you.
See, there's
your turn.
And she takes her water. Wait. Before we get into this whole freaking storytelling saga, which I'm a storyteller, so strap your seatbelts on, guys. But
yeah, it's really fun. You learn a lot during.
Think of your
64 ounces, baby. Except you guys, I lost my handle, so I carry it like a baby or a football everywhere I go now. It's ridiculous.
This is Thunderdome necessity. If you're going to come to one of our events, bring your freaking water.
Make sure you hydrate.
It's in it because we go, and we do a lot of things and we go a lot of places. So our event at Lemurian Life Expo, it is not like one location. We have one location, then we have offsite stuff because we're in Mount Shasta and we need to do things that are bringing all that information and letting people experience the things they love. And so how do you do that? You got to create diversity. So we're going to have music festival. We're going to have different people speaking and we're going to have kids interacting and we're going to have all kinds of different things. So 144 is a huge part of what we're doing with Lemurian Life Expo. 144 is a huge part of why I'm promoting Neil from Portal to Ascension, New Living Expo, when he's there doing his thing at CLE, Michelle Anderson from Awakening Code Radio. Like these are, I know. She's Tuesday night, guys.
She's extra claps. Love. I was listening to an episode the other day about Tartaria, and I was like,
oh. No, I know. She told me about it.
You would love it. It was good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I actually met with her after that session, and we had dinner with my mom, and she's, love these people. So 144. Rewind into story. So I want you to nestle in, get your tea, coffee, beer, wine, electrolyted water, whatever it is you need in the moment. And basically, what happened is I was trying to save a marriage that was already done. And I lived in Mount Shasta, which I've been here forever, for a long time. My oldest is 28, so I've been here a pretty long time. And my intuition and it was the craziest thing. How do I tell this? You guys, I'm going to tell stories. You're going to be like, holy shit, no fucking way. Right. And that's just how my life kind of rolls because I choose it that way. I choose to be in a life that is full of a lot of magic because that's my favorite thing. I love magic. I love the magic in humanity. I love the things that people say you can't make this shit up. That's the kind of life I've chosen to live. So there's going to be a lot of that. Anyways, I'm sitting here, I'm driving, I'm literally driving the car, and it was like a movie screen came into my mind. And I just got this like vision of like, don't move, don't leave Mount Shasta. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people get kicked out of Shasta energetically. I mean, people say that Mount Shasta is a root chakra. I don't believe that. I've been here, I don't know, 15, 18 years. To me, Mount Shasta meets you where you're at. Whatever it is you're working on, whatever your blind spot is, whatever your thing is, that's what you're faced with in Shasta, period. And I feel like it cycles, like it goes through your flow. Whatever your spiral is, whatever you're working on, which I talk a lot about in the course, The 5 Elements of You. This is that spiral of ourself, our mental, our emotional, our physical, our spiritual, our ethereal. All of that, the mountain is all of that. It's 5 volcanoes in one. So when you're dealing with that kind of diversity, that's what you're experiencing. So here I am, I'm driving, trying to save my marriage. And I'm getting these hits of like, no, you need to leave your husband because he couldn't stay in Shasta. He was like, I can't stay here. And I was thriving. I loved my job. I was wanting to have my own location, which I now do, which is what you're seeing in the background. So I'm sitting here going, I got to make this marriage work. I have 5 kids. What am I going to do? Well, my sister had called me. She was going through divorce and she asked me to come to Idaho, which was such a blessing because that's how I met Cliff, and you will see him later. And he's freaking the male physical version of Adrianna, but he's really a girl. So we love you. And she's really a dude in a woman's body.
Yeah.
So whoever wants to date her, be in touch with your femininity.
Please. Please. Just kidding. Couldn't help it. Okay, keep going. Back to you.
After this Tide commercial. No.
You're up, kid.
So anyways, I'm like, okay, my ex-husband wanted to move, so I was going to do that. So I was supposed to get a U-Haul. I was going to pick it up in Oregon, and I had a really bad allergy to an antibiotic. I ended up in the hospital for 11 days, and I ended up having 2 NDAs, right? Or NDEs.
NDE.
NDEs, right? I never do that. I always say I had a near-death experience, but NDE, right?
Yeah, I'm like, isn't an NDA a contract?
I know.
Which what's
fucking funny about that is I literally made an agreement in that death. So yeah,
right, right.
But instead of a non-disclosure,
but you're allowed to talk about it.
Exactly. Instead of a non-disclosure agreement, it's like, please disclose this or please expose this.
Yeah, please tell everybody.
We will not be editing this, guys. It's too funny. And it'll let everybody really know who I am. I say everything backwards, and my indigenous dad is always trying to tell me before he passed that I was a Heyoka because I do everything backwards. And that came out with the Caro yesterday. So yeah, I'm a backwards girl. Have fun. Anyways, so here I am having this freaking near-death experience. I'm in the ICU. They don't know what to do. I'm basically, swelling. And my body couldn't handle all the epinephrine. So I ended up having a heart attack. And then when I had the heart attack and died and they had me on the table, there were like these two beings standing next to me, and then there was a reaper in front of me. And the only reason I knew it was a reaper was because it was like this dark body, like not like dark like evil. It was just like dark in color, but he felt really neutral. Like no matter how much I wanted to fear the experience, there was something that just wouldn't let me. It was like, yeah, there's nothing to fear here. And then I had two beings beside me. And basically the Reaper said, hey man, you ready to go? And I was at the time teaching ascension classes. So I thought, hell yeah, I want to go learn something more to bring to my students. Let's do this. And then they said, if you go, you'll never come back. And I was just like, I just got started. What are you guys talking about? And I came back, they had the paddles on me and I came back into this reality. And then a friend of mine who's an intuitive, she had messaged my ex-husband at that time, my husband at the time, on my Facebook. And nobody knew he was with me because we had split. And so she messaged him and said, hey, Joseph, I know that you're, with Heather right now. So what I want you to do is let her know this. And so he started reading all this information, like, you're not going to die unless you choose it. You need to make a choice. She said my food was going to change, which is crazy. I drink a gallon of milk every 2 days. I cannot have any milk, but I'm not lactose. It's like an enzyme. So it's very strange. So anyways, she tells me all these things, or he reads it. And then I go into anaphylaxis again. And when I came out of the anaphylaxis, they had to give me more epinephrine, and I had another heart attack and I died. And I was right back in that same place. And it was like, they're sitting there and they're telling me, come on, you want to go? Your karma's done. You can come and you can go into a new realm. This is your last life here on earth, like all this stuff. And they said, but if you go, you can never come back. Like, this is it. Well, at the time I had a baby, my 11-year-old was like 1 or 2. He's like a little guy. And I was like, I'm not leaving my baby. Like, you guys hit your head, you know what I mean? And I kept feeling like a walk-in was going to come in my body. Like, no matter what, this body was going to do that, was going to create whatever it was they were going to ask me to create. And if my soul didn't want to be present, a walk-in was going to come in. And you guys, I don't have a lot of attachments, but my kids and raising my kids, still something I'm totally working out. And I'm definitely attached to that. So I was like, there's no way someone else is raising my kids. And I had just got started in my career in a way where I was walking again. Another story, another time. But I was in a wheelchair for almost a decade. So I was like thriving, like I was in this whole space. And so I said, no, I'm not leaving. And they said, okay, well, if you stay, we want you to create the 144. And I was like, well, what the heck is that? And they said, well, the 144, it's 144 global locations. And I was like, global locations. And so then I looked at the Reaper and I was like, I'm one person. I'm about to be a single mom and you with 5 kids. And you guys want me to freaking create 144 locations? How am I supposed to do that? And they kind of chuckled, really. And so I decided to stay, came back, and all the steroids they had me on, I went from a size like 5'6" to a 22. And it was crazy. So I went on this healing journey and I didn't really know what they wanted, but then I met Cliff. And then I met Adrianna, and then I met all these other beautiful people, Lee and Steph and Julie and Michelle and all these different people. I mean, there's so many more, and they just started to evolve. And then I realized that the 144 wasn't about me opening 144 locations, which in my astrological chart, whether you believe it or not, in that or not, my whole chart is about community. My whole chart is about creating connection. So when they asked it, I wasn't understanding because it just didn't resonate. And as I started living my life, I left my husband. I ended up homeless in Dunsmuir until I ended up in my shop that I have today. That's a whole other story. The 144 started to show itself. And what was beautiful is that I love all kinds of life. I'm a part-time vegan, is what I say. Sometimes I want to eat vegan food. Sometimes I want to have a hot date with some steak and bread. I mean,
Unless
like,
it's chili. If it
unless
is
it's,
chili, there better be meat in the chili.
oh my gosh, we're putting a pin in that. We're
Yeah, we'll
definitely,
revisit. Yeah, there's still a bone to pick with the
so
chili.
long story longer, what ended up happening was I realized Cliff, who's Cliftonite Acoustics, which I think he's changing that, but if he's not, I'm keeping it. He is a musician, but he was definitely making an impact in the world and in his community. And he was definitely starting to show up more and more for himself and becoming more aligned. And I realized, holy crap, he's part of the 144. It isn't a business. It could be a business, but it also could be a person. It could be an architect. It could be a heavy metal player. It could be anybody, because it isn't about what they're doing or whether they have a huge corporation or a tiny little shop or a single person. It's about their message. What is the example of the path they're walking? And is the example of the path they're walking about connected, about being connected, and about walking through that space of community through our differences and how we get to learn? The people in my life trigger the shit out of me in the best ways, even when it's super painful. It's teaching me, because what do we need to do in order to really be in a community? And I don't care what community you're a part of. If you want to be in a functional community, in my opinion, this is my opinion, you can say whatever you like about it. I believe we have to be accountable people. We have to be willing to be teachable, and we have to be willing to take action, even when taking action means doing nothing. If I'm not part of those three things, then it's not going to be flowful and fluid, and there's going to be unnecessary pain. So, did I explain 144 enough?
You did perfect. But one thing that I want to talk about that
Cliff
reminded
on
me
the
of.
bottom should put
No,
over-explained and flash it.
no, I think Cliff's having way too much fun with those. Maybe do we need to put code words down at the bottom? Uh, so the one thing that your story, because there were so many things that you touched on and so many stories, you're like, okay, that's a story for another time. I thought this would be a fun time to talk about another project you're working on, your book, and putting that out and letting everyone know that Miss Heather has been writing a book for a few years, and it is a beautiful book, and we're getting ready to put it out there pretty soon. And so I just thought that would be a good time to put it out there, because there's all these
And
beautiful
we're putting that book
stories.
in a movie.
What was that?
Yeah, the book will be a movie. That's definitely happening. So I'm super excited. One of my longtime clients, that's what she does. She funds movies, screenplays that she loves. And just talked to her this week, and it's definitely going to become a movie. So
That is awesome.
that is really exciting. I know, I'm super excited. I don't know how I feel about that, actually. I could think my question for her is going to be like, can I pick the characters? Like, who's going to play me in the movie? Or
End
not?
up hate you. We all know it. You're gonna be
Oh,
like, "Yep,
no,
I got this. I got this."
no, I don't want to
No,
be the person in the movie. No,
no.
no.
Do you want to tell us like
No.
what's the book about? What are we doing with
Well,
the
what
book?
I am going to tell you guys is I'm going to put little snippets out. So the first 17 pages is going to give you a really good idea, an intro of the book. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm going to put it out in parts. So maybe I'll do like the first 5 pages or the first 3 pages and then the next 3 pages. So stay tuned. I'm going to have it on a blog on gettailored.love. And I'm going to start the blog next week, and you're just going to get it in chunks. And then I love the feedback. I think that's really good. The beautiful thing is what it is about is the 5 elements of you. It's called And So I Wait. And the reason it's called And So I Wait is because I feel like I've spent a lot of my life waiting for myself. That's just what it is. It's been a joke, throughout my life as an intuitive, especially with the kids and people that are really close to me. And they'll be like, dude, this is what's going on. What are you seeing? And I'll be like, okay, I'll tell a little bit of information and then just wait because they need to have their experience just as much as I do. But what I realized was along the way, I was waiting for myself too. And I think a lot of us spend a lot of time waiting for ourselves and we might not be aware that that's what we're doing. So this book is about the 5 elements of you. And it's partly a workbook and it's partly a story. The stories are true, but I'm not going to post it as a fiction or a nonfiction. I'm not sure how I'm going to post the book yet, because it's just so layered. And I think that's important. I feel like a lot of our lives are layered, even people that choose the life of an NPC and they just want to like kind of go through the everyday and they're not really looking for anything that brings a lot of change in their life. They just want to witness the change around them. Dude, that is such a crucial and important pillar in our consciousness. Because all of you guys out there that may be considered NPCs, or maybe you've been told you're an NPC by somebody who's very much not, or who is, frustrated and triggered by your consistency. Consistency is so important. Everything is so important, every diversity. And this book really shows that. So the first 17 pages is going to tell you a story. It's 2 stories in one. It's really one story. That's 2 sections. And then it's going to lead into chapter 1, which is element 1. And element 1 is fire, activation, awareness, bringing yourself into your awareness of what it is you want in your life, what it is you love in your life, and what it is you want to change. And I think it's really super important. And if we don't have even a little bit of awareness, and you don't even have to know what it is, it could just be like, oh my gosh, I'm having this feeling and I'm having anxiety. Maybe you're somebody that you're like, I don't know why, but I'm having anxiety and I have a good life. And you're not understanding why. Or maybe you're having a panic attack because there's a difference. And what it is there's this activation or awareness inside your body and you're having a hard time seeing it. It's a part of your mystery. So the 5 elements of you, element 1, which is within the first 17 pages, really talks about what that is and gives a little bit of homework. And you can also go on there and there's a guidebook that's for free on the website. It's 22 pages of goodness. You guys can get on there, 5 elements of you, and kind of start taking a little dive into what that's about. And the book is just going to go deeper. There'll be 3 books total, and it's a lot of fun.
Can I share what I love about the book?
Oh my gosh, here she goes.
So,
Yeah, but then we're
yeah.
talking about you, or we can talk about Cliff because
Okay.
it's just
We
about him.
we can talk about all of us. At first I was like, I don't know what to say. There's so many directions. But no, I want to share what I love about the book because I have had a lot of fun watching you write your book and put your book together. And
You mean resist my book?
okay, I am not sharing all of your tea. If you want to share it, that's on you, girl.
Hey man,
But
it's
no.
get tailored. I got to tailor
No.
myself too.
Right? No, it has been fun, especially when you're super stoked and you're like, okay, wait, I'm going to pivot really quick. But when we were doing like an editing session, it was when Candace was there and she's reading one of her stories and she goes, Cliff, and she goes, oh my gosh, can you believe that happened? Like this and then this. And I was like, you guys, she is literally like cracking up and like in disbelief over her own plot twist in her life. Like, it was your life plot twist in your story. And you were like, can you believe that happened? And we were like, no, we actually can't, but I love that you can't either. Like, it was just really sweet. Like, it was really fun to watch. And then what I love too is I feel like so many people are writing books right now and it's like, here's your multiple 5-step plan. And here's all the stuff. Like the last thing for me, like as somebody who wants to like be accountable and show up and like be the best version of me, like I'm also busy AF. And the last thing I feel like I want is another, like, here's your 20 steps of things to do. Like, that's the last thing I need in my life right now. And I'm probably not going to pick the book up because it's like, if you start out with 5 steps, I'm already out. But what I love about your book is that because it is so layered, there's a little bit of it for everybody. So for the people who do want a little bit more instruction, there's that in there. For people who are going to just like read the stories and start piecing it apart, there's a little bit of that. And so it really,
There's
wherever
science
you are
in
in
it
the
too, which I
range.
think is important because we
Yeah.
have a lot of science-based people that are really, we have like, it's a very interesting community in the science industry right now. And I think what's really interesting for me to witness is that I'm seeing an eclectic like selection, but there's a real fundamental. It's like you've got the scientists that are having a hard time connecting spirituality to science. And mostly for me, my belief is because ether was removed. And that's why I made ethereal the fifth element, because it's the external, it's the mystery, it's what you're receiving as a result, it's playing the role out. It's this other layer that has been totally removed, but I feel is such an important link. It is part of our mystery. And the ether is part of that fifth dimension everybody's talking about. You know, it's like we're going into fifth dimension. In my world, it's like, no, guys, we're bringing in our reality that's been hidden. And I think it's so important. And it doesn't matter what anybody thinks that is. It's really about us unhiding, uncovering ourselves. That's it. That's all it's about. I mean, you could do Tartaria and all that stuff, and I love all that stuff. And I am definitely a traveler that's like, holy shit, that is definitely a Tartarian building. You know, I'm definitely one of those people, but I feel like for all walks of life, it isn't about believing one thing or the other. It's about finding the parts, the fundamental, the foundation piece in whatever it is you're looking at that resonates. I don't care if it's a nugget. I don't care if it's a needle in the haystack. But if you're reading something and you can find it and you can resonate with it and at least be with it long enough to feel it, you can turn it into whatever you want. And it's perfect because every single person is living their own world, their own experience, their own belief. And to me, that's what coming into this next level of existence is about, is really accepting that we all have our own realities and we're all choosing that. And it's cause and effect. So when I'm looking at the science industry, the fundamentals in the space that they're in is so interesting because so much is being uncovered that spiritual part, that inner part is coming in. And with the five elements, it really brings it home because the fourth element is air, right? It is spirit. It's containment. It's not about what religion you believe. It's about how are you bringing in the first three into yourself and really understanding you, because you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I don't care what scientist you are, everybody knows we're made of energy. And energy is the flow of our spiritual self. And it can be whatever you want. You don't even have to label it as spirit. You can say, energy is my energetic self. It's still the same thing. You're just putting a different face on it. So I think that's really intriguing. And you went to that part about the diversity of the book, and it's like I'm getting a lot of good feedback from scientists. And I had two friends read the first 17 pages, and one person is not in the woo-woo community at all. Probably
That's
one of
fun.
the people I know. And when I got his feedback, I was really excited because my goal with the book was to be able to reach everybody. Because whatever anybody believes to me is what they believe and it's theirs. And I'm not here to judge it. I'm here to love them.
I love that.
Me too. Isn't it like snuggly? Makes you
Yeah,
want to.
it's really good. No, you are really, I will say that is something you are really good at is, you know, really seeing people where they are and in all walks of life and just honoring wherever they are. Like you are really good at doing that.
Unless it's my partner.
That's different. He is literally, they're literally prime triggered for money. Like they like everything I read about like partnerships and relationships, and it's like, yeah, they're gonna trigger you and like, and I'm like, oh, so it's not Disney yet? Okay, okay, okay.
It's
But
not
it is.
did.
But it is too. And there are those moments, right? But I
You
believe
know
that's
what? Let's
part of
freaking
it.
talk about this. I have
Okay.
some women that came to visit me who I love so much. And I've been having like a lot of beautiful women come and visit me. And all of them kind of have this theme of like partnership, and that they're looking in hope. Well, not really looking, but like saying, hey, man, like I'm ready for that connection. I'm ready for that partner. And so we were kind of talking about like who we are as partners. And I was like, I feel like I'm a colossal pain in the ass. That's how I because I'm
I
super independent, like, whoa, independent, right? But then I want to totally be cuddled and pampered and loved. And I want like the manly stuff. But then I totally want them to be feminine so that I can be the man in me because I'm super both. And I wouldn't make sense for me to be one or the other. And I feel like my intuition, sometimes I get ahead of myself and I assume. And that's what I've been working on, not assuming. So that's what we started talking about, me and the girls, is I was like, okay, well, what would you say your thing is that you need to be aware of in a relationship? For me, it's definitely assumption and fear. It's almost like, and it's so weird because it's like, why am I afraid? Right? Am I really afraid, or is it just like old shit that's sitting there? Because I'm not really afraid. Like, I'm super good being alone. I'm good being single. I don't want to. I want to cuddle and I want to have sex. That's the thing. That's the thing. I want to have as much sex as I can and I want to cuddle as much as I can. If I can get those two things, I'm fucking happy.
Cliff, make sure you clip that for Instagram, please. And we need that to be a social media clip, please. I thought we were saving the after hour show. That's so funny.
Dude, that was late to the table, Cliff.
Gosh.
Late to the table.
Right. So
Okay, so what about you, dude?
What about me? Who am I as a partner? Oh my gosh.
Well, maybe not who are you as a partner, but
In
like,
relationships?
what is it that we spend so much time talking about what we want in partners, right?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I just did right now, sex and cuddles, right? But who are we in a relationship? Like, are we actually people that are being accountable to see who we actually are in a relationship?
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's so good. You know what? I'm actually really curious to see who I am in a relationship now. Just with I feel like I'm in a whole new space and I'm opening myself up to a whole different type of partnership. And so I'm actually really excited to see who I am because I think as a partner, like I have a lot of love to offer, right? I have a lot of like all of the like cliche stuff. I do feel like I'm a supportive person. Um, but I just want a different dynamic than I've done in the past, where it's a little bit more of a give and a take, right? And not a take, it's just more fluid, right? There's a little bit more of that like equal
Like,
support, something
hello?
a little more balanced. Yeah, a little more balanced. And I also want, like, for me, I keep seeing stuff. I'm like, gosh, the idea of something that will like help me soften. That's what I want because I am a hard ass. I just am. I don't know. It's something in me.
Well,
I'm
I
hard on,
think part of
I'm just
it's
hard on myself too, you know?
it's the Italian in you. I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
our ancestral lines come through, period. In our,
Dude,
and we can do
yeah.
self work on it and overcome it and evolve it, but there's still going to be like, an essence.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. So it's something that'll kind of help me to like soften that and feel safe enough to be in a softer space.
That's the thing.
That's
Safe
what I'm looking for.
would be the theme right now. Do we feel
Yeah.
safe? Do we feel safe financially? Do we feel safe with ourselves? Do we feel safe in our business? Do we feel so safe with our friends? Do we feel safe getting in the car? Do we feel safe with our kids going to school? Dude, side note, my son is going to his first day of high school ever, ninth grade, calls me up with all four of his buddies, who I love very much. And the one he calls to ask the question about, I've known him since he was 4, so he knows it's my weak spot. And he's like, "Ma, I want to have a sleepover at my friend's house for my first night of school, and we're going to go to school from his house." And one half of me was super excited, and the other half was like, "Dude, you're going to your first day of high school, and I don't even get to see you off."
You can just
Like,
drive there in the morning.
I'm a little jelly. Oh my gosh! And then I could freaking bump my parents' Snake Farm song. Oh,
Yes.
embarrassed. He'd
I
be
don't even
well.
know the song, but
He's too funny. He wouldn't be embarrassed. We did that with Kennedy. So, anyways, back to partners. I just had to side note that because
yeah.
Augie popped up in the combo. But with partners with you, what I witnessed, may I share?
Yes, please. I love insight.
Okay. So, one of the things that I witnessed with you in relationships is, yeah, you definitely have this like firm boundary, But my prayer, okay, I'm going to say it this way.
Ooh, I love it.
I'm going to have a prayer.
That's some
So
intentions.
yes, see, my prayer for you is that you are able to speak your truth and be respected and heard. Because I feel like you shrunk yourself a lot. And I feel like you are such a person that wants balance and fairness and you didn't really know your value at that point, which I feel like you're totally breathing your value in more and more every day. Um, that you would sacrifice yourself for him to control.
Mm,
And I saw a lot of that. And so, but then all of a sudden I saw you starting to evolve and change, which is why you vibrated out of that relationship. And now you've been going through this whole journey of yourself. You've been in a relationship with you. And so now I'm very intrigued to see what type of partner you actually end up attracting in the future. And I know for those of you watching, like, why are we talking about relationships? But I think life is a relationship. I think life is a relationship with ourselves, with our businesses, with our cars, with our kids, with our friends, with even strangers at a gas station. And, a lot of times I think I even in my book, maybe there's a quote. It has something about like even the guy who doesn't want to be around people who lives in the woods and cuts trees for a living, he's having a relationship with people because those trees that he's cutting, which breaks my heart, are the trees that are going into our houses and our buildings and our fireplaces to get us through winter. So he's having a connection with people or she. And so I feel like life is connection. And I feel like partners, our husbands, our wives, our whatever kind of partnership we're having, I feel like those relationships are the closest reflection of ourselves. Either what we need to learn and evolve into, what we need to grow from, whatever it is, I feel like it's that deepest part of ourselves. And I also feel like for those of us that attract opposites, we're really attracting the mystery and the ability to grow and learn in the mystery. And I feel like those that attract people that are just like them are attracting the awareness to grow within the things that are already safe and comfortable and be triggered within that and to learn from that. So I feel like different types of relationships are really boiled down to those two things. It's either an opposite or a similar, and both teach and one teaches a different part of the mystery. And I think that if we are aware of what we're attracting because of who we are, it's going to help us navigate relationships we're already in or relationships that we want to manifest in the future.
yeah, a piece I just feel called to add is like, I loved when I was kind of going through that transition, seeing where I was in different relationships. And it was really, really fun to see the relationships where I was like, oh, here she is. Okay, here I am. And then it was because it's been this really cool journey of the more I see of myself and the places that I feel like, oh, this feels good, the more the easier it is to notice where things don't feel good or they don't resonate. So like I would come up and be in Shasta with you guys, we're doing LLE, like, fighting for our lives in the Thunderdome. No, I'm just kidding. But just like being ourselves. And then I'd go to these different spaces and I was like, this just doesn't feel like me anymore. And so it was really cool to see how all these different relationships I was in, how they kind of like one showed me where I resonated more or was in more alignment, and others showed me where I wasn't so much in alignment, and they kind of like play off each
I
other.
remember that. I know. And then you kept going back home, and I was like, you're like, man. And I was like, well, you're living two lives. And then you went, what? You're
No,
like,
that sat with me
that's
for a
literally
while.
what you did.
Yeah, and so I started seeing that, but I just wanted to bring it up because it was something that like it was so like impactful for me, and I just feel like starting to kind of look at things like that of like, ooh, okay, how are things bouncing off of each other in my life too? Or bouncing off,
Yeah.
like, I think that
Yeah.
it was a fun thing to start looking at for myself.
No, I think that was crazy and great. I mean, at Lemurian Life Expo, it's so interesting. So, just to give you guys a little bit of background for those of you that haven't been to Lemurian Life Expo, and those of you who are wondering why we didn't do it this year.
Yes, let's get that question.
Let's get that going. First of all, before I do that, anybody that has a story to tell or wants to make a comment about their relationships, like maybe answer the question we asked ourselves today and be like, how am I showing up? Or what's going on for me? What would I like to really evolve in myself before I get into another relationship? Or what would I like to evolve in myself while I'm in the relationship I'm in? And hopefully that'll bring some healing and connection and growth in your current relationship, or maybe it'll help you attract a relationship wherever you are. So please, I really want us to be interactive with each other and really show that space and really show our love. And she's going to say something.
No, I was like, I have idea. I feel like Hazel. I'm like, ooh, I have idea.
I have idea.
So we have our Instagram account, and
Ooh.
if people wanted to, they could, if they feel called to share anything, they could always share and tag, and we'll see it and share and like that kind
Oh
of
my
stuff.
gosh, yeah.
Like, is that a good idea? Is that a great idea?
Great. I think it's a great idea. Oh my gosh. If you guys saw her little girl, her little hair is so tight. She's so dang cute.
And she goes, I have idea.
Big deal.
But
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. And I think also when people are going on there, I'm really encouraging you guys, if you are doing something, a business, you want to start a business, you're making food, super on board with that. Send me photos of your food. Just, I want to know who you guys are. I want to know what you're doing, what you love, what you're about. Just because you're not on the show doesn't mean that we don't want to know about you, or maybe you'll come on the show later. Who knows? I just really, this whole thing for me is about building a community where we can all get to know each other and support each other and be in a good way. It's like, what does Michelle say on her show? Be a good human, right? So, for us, we want to really focus on embodying support and being there for each other. And we also want to be in our truths and learn from each other. So I really invite that. Let's share the things that we can and be in our real spaces and be positive, and ask yourself the question, am I accountable? Am I teachable? And am I taking action even when it means to be? And what does it mean to be teachable for you? For me, a master teacher is a master student. If I'm open to learning, if you're open to learning, then we're definitely teaching, leading by example. So I encourage that. Like, come be a part of us and allow us to be a part of you. Okay, so where were we headed into that? Because I squirreled, you squirreled, we're all squirrels. Where's the picture? Squirrels.
I know. Where's our squirrel picture? I don't know. Where were we going?
Come on, Cliff. Where's our producer? What were we talking about?
Gosh. Wait, should we bring Cliff on? Can he come on?
He can't.
He can't?
He's a producer on this show. He can't come on and be in the public eye, although that would be fun. He will in the future.
I just thought it would be fun to blast him out there a little bit on his birthday.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for sure. We could tailor him. That would be fun.
Yeah. His turn.
So, does anybody remember what we were talking about before I went into my whole, we squirreled on Instagram?
No, you were just talking about sharing relationships, wanting the show to be interactive.
No, I pinned something. Okay. Well, apparently it's gone, guys. If you guys remember it, or I'll go back in the video and see it and I'll talk about it next week. Apparently we went so far down the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole that there's no return.
Yeah, we're moving forward.
I think what was really important and what we really want to bring a take home to is that we're here to be organic, and we're here to talk about how we can help each other, be ourselves, and I think that's really important. So on another note, what I really am excited that I wanted to talk about too is, did you remember?
Yeah, it was Lemurian Life Expo.
Oh, that's where I was headed. So see,
honey, you already found your way.
Oh my
Love
God.
that.
I hope you guys are having fun watching our ridiculousness.
This is who we are. It's probably not going to change. So welcome. It may not get better. Just a heads up.
We'll make the effort, but we can't make a guarantee.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lemurian Life Expo, where is headed with that is that one of the biggest things with Lemurian Life Expo is we really, that's right. I'm so loving you right now for confirming that memory. We really love what it created itself to be. And it wasn't like, we didn't do this year and I was not going to do another year, actually. And what ended up happening was our first year of Lemurian Life Expo was freaking epic. And so was the second year. But what we realized was the first year we created a container just by us being ourselves. We had meetings every night at the end of the show, even if it was 2 a.m, because we work from like 7 a.m. to midnight. Sometimes we have to break down. We did live stream and in person. We met every night and talked about each of us in each of our sections. How was it? How were the volunteers? How are the presenters? What can we do to be better at our job? And how can we show it better? How are the guests? And I feel like because we were all so accountable and we were so ready to support each other is why it created its own container. Because Adrianna or Cliff or myself or somebody would come in and say, oh my gosh, okay, I totally got triggered and this is what I'm facing. And we'd be in our truth about it. And then we would say, okay, well, do you need to tag someone else in for that area? And then sometimes we'd say, yeah, actually, I should be in a different area. And then what would happen? What would happen, Adriana?
You find yourself back there because that's where you're
You,
supposed to be. So
exactly.
it's about something you're facing. So it's good times.
Exactly. So then you end up, back in that space, or even if you change spaces, you're in a similar scenario with a person because the whole point of the event is to learn and grow with yourself. And what is Lemurian, right? To me, Lemurian, it isn't about taking a spiritual meditation journey back into Lemuria. It's about, which is great. And I love it. And I love to play there. But for me, Lemuria is about living it. How am I living it today? Because it is here all around us. For me, it's about living from my heart. That's what Lemurian Life Expo is for me. And I feel like sometimes it can be misunderstood. Sometimes the people are like, when are we doing the channeling journeying meditation? And it's like, yeah, we're going to do those things if there's people doing workshops that want to do that. But the point of Lemurian Life Expo is to help be the example and to learn from others, even the audience, of what we can do to be more in our heart. What can we do to show up more in our lives? And what can we do to fill ourselves with compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves? And I feel like that's important. So when we do Lemurian Life Expo, it is fantastic. And what happens is as soon as we start it, you're in ceremony. You may as well have gone to Sundance, guys, because you're in a ceremony. It's just like anybody who knows anything about Sundance. When you go into Sundance, when you go into Home Bleche, when you're going to do your vision quest, your 4 days, as soon as you start those prayer ties, you're in ceremony. You've started the ceremony. And so as soon as we start Lemurian Life Expo, you're in your ceremony. And what that means is that everybody is on their own ceremonial journey. And so every presenter that's ever done it for us always says the same thing. The whole entire year after, there was so much beauty that came in, so much learning. The whole event itself, they were learning. The volunteers say that. The staff say that. The guests say that. Even people that come and something happens and, we're human. We're having human experiences, right? And maybe something human happens that triggers that person. We have had literally people email us back that were upset with us and said, oh my gosh, blah, 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 this happened. And then they email us back and they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I now understand. And thank you so much for being so kind. Because we understood that they were going through something and that we were holding space for that. And how can we be of service? And I think having the compassion for the process of the human growth is a huge part of these events. It's not even an expo. I mean, we named it an expo because we didn't know what else to name it. It's really not. It is a ceremonial community event that's filled with all kinds of things. So we did year 1, then we did year 2, and then when year 3 came, we decided we were going to not do year 3 and take a break. I mean, Ruben moved to Japan and he's one of the hosts and co-founders. And so we just were like, you know what? We're going to take a break this year. And then Adrianna and I ended up going to all these events. And then
Mm-hmm.
what happened at the events? You tell. You go. Your turn.
Wait, where do we even go? Okay, so I mean, we went to CLE, which I don't even know what to make of that. It was
That
just
was
an interesting, it was a
every
very
event.
mental journey. I hadn't been either. I really hadn't been to any spiritual events other than Lemurian Life Expo. So it was really interesting to go from, and I think it's different, right? We're behind the scenes, but it was really interesting to go from Lemurian Life Expo to other events and just see how each one is so different. I really love the heart of our event. You can really feel it. It really shows. But it was really fun because I did notice, like, in talking of the ceremony and starting to kind of think about the patterns of the events, with LLE, right? We started to notice the pattern of like, okay, everybody starts out. They're like, we're all fresh, we're excited, we're rested. All the guests are excited. They're not triggered yet. And everybody just like walks in like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, like, fresh, right? And then there's always that like hefty middle. Sorry, I was reading the caption. There's that hefty middle, which is when you can tell people are like really in it, like they're really in the thick of it, really facing themselves. And some
The
do,
customer service changes there too. And I think that's a big thing. It's like
yeah,
our nightly meetings allow us to pivot with our guests,
yeah,
to
absolutely.
pivot with the people coming. It allows us to talk to the presenters and let them know what we're experiencing so that it helps the presenters and they tune in and be like, oh, okay, I was totally tuning into that. So I'm going to show up for the people. It just helps us show up for community, I think, in a better way and in a more supportive way because we're taking time with each other. And I think that is a key thing. The other thing that was interesting is every event I went to, even in the UK, even in Glastonbury, people were stopping me and saying, "Oh my gosh, you're LLE. Are you guys doing it this year?"
Yeah.
And it
That
was
was
like,
so fun.
I was like, crap.
That was so fun to see people. Yeah. Yeah. And
No,
we're not,
we're not doing it this year. And then Callie, my daughter, who runs the shop here in Shasta, she was like, Mom, I'm having groups come in. I had groups come in June because our first year we did summer solstice. And then our second year, colossal mistake, we moved it to 8/8, which
no,
was just,
you know what? I think we needed the energy of the astrology at the time because it was
that's why we
hefty
did it
this year. It was hefty. Um, but it was
for sure.
I think it was so good for us as a team. Like I feel like last year, yes, it was about like everyone, but it was really also I feel like about us as a core. And it really like solidified us as a team and showed us like who we are to each other. And then we've just been working with that since, but it was hefty energy for sure to work with. We were
Yeah.
like, no more LLEs during a retrograde. No more. No more. Wait, no, remember the power went out. That was the other thing that happened. So
My
we couldn't live stream. So we had like weed here and Mount
Amy.
Shasta and like everywhere around did not have any
Oh, it was 3 cities. 3
yeah,
cities had no
internet.
internet, and nobody knew how to get to the CE5 that was being done on the mountain, and there was, like, I don't know, what, 65, 100 people? It was, I think it was, like,
Something
65
crazy like
people that went because it was only supposed to be 35, but somehow 65 ended up showing up and buying tickets, and so we had double the amount. And so we had to change the location to house a larger amount of people. And then the internet went out. And it was right after your mom left with the Starlink.
yes, that's right. We had
We
had
had
Starlink
Starlink the whole
the
time.
weekend. The
And
entire
30
weekend
minutes.
didn't need it. We were like, she's like, do you want me to leave this here? Like, Ash, I think she even asked because my mom was like, she's my mom, right? So she's, tuned in her own way too. She's like, do you want me to leave this? I was like, no, mom, we are doing so good. Like, we're
Here it
great.
said ego spanking. Ego
Right.
spanking.
No, I was like, we're good. Like, I think it's like going well. Literally, she leaves and 30 minutes later, or no, it was like an hour because she was too far to come back.
That's
So
right. She
it
was
was
too.
like she was just far enough. So
Yep,
it was
that's
really funny.
hilarious.
I
So
forgot.
yeah, so then what we decided was is we moved it to Lionsgate. And then the reason I don't want to do that again is because what happened is I had hundreds of people in my community messaging me saying, Heather, I can't come now because my kids go back to school in 8/8, or I go back to school, or I'm teaching, or it was like the end of summer for them. And so June was like the perfect little nugget of time for them to come up to Shasta. And I was like, shoot, I should have just kept it in June. So we're traveling. Callie has had, I'm traveling. Callie, my daughter, she's messaging me in June and in July and in August, groups of people coming up. And it was these women running groups, and they were coming up for LLE, but they didn't see any advertising. So they decided to go ahead and book their retreats anyways with their people and come into the store. And they came in, they told my daughter, is LLE going to be here? I mean, is LLE here this year? We didn't see any advertising. So my daughter had to tell all these groups, no, we're not doing it. So then a couple presenters messaged me and said, Heather, we really want you to do this. And I was like, I need to do this. And then Adrianna and Cliff and Ben were like, we're not Ben as much. He was a little bit like, okay, I miss it a little bit.
Ben was like, he wears his shirt, which tells
He
me that
does wear his shirt all the time.
all the time.
So
We
you
see
know
you,
he
Ben.
loves
Proud
it
of you.
inside. He's
Yeah.
an introverted guy, so his external
yeah.
expression is subtle.
And Ben was doing the tech, right? He's doing so much of the tech like on his back because and he's like,
we're
live
live
stream. He's trying to teach me all the tech, and I'm like not the one. And so yeah, I try eventually, but luckily we had Sam there, right? So that was, I think, really helpful. But I do feel like Ben has a lot of the tech stuff, and last year was a really remember like 2 days before or the day before it even started, the power was out in the whole building. And they were doing construction on it that they didn't know about. So we almost didn't even have power. So it was an interesting tech year for LLE. So I understand why he's wearing the shirt and keeping
Is it though?
yeah.
You know what I felt? I felt like every single thing we faced, you guys, I felt like it was this example of our life. It's like this example of mystery. And I feel like for me, I've really been on this mission of learning to live in the mystery and apply these elements in the mystery. And the same thing with the example. So I was teaching the Cosmic Laws PDF. And in the Cosmic Laws PDF, I was teaching on Facebook, and I think I'm going to continue. I'm feeling guided to continue, and it's a free thing. And I was teaching it, and I landed on the example, the law of the example. And I haven't taught it since that because I just was moving into other spaces, and I felt like, wow, I really need to look at where I'm at as the example in my life and how I feel about that. So then the same thing with the 5 elements of you, I did the 3 rounds, right? Level 1, 2, and 3. And level 3 is literally applying the 5 elements while living in the mystery. And we haven't gone into a new cycle. So I feel like since the PDF, the cosmic laws, and the learning how to apply the 5 elements in the mystery, I feel like I've been like living it in a cycle. And it's like, okay, Heather, have you embodied this yet? Are you ready for the next part? Because you've kind of been sitting here for quite a long time. And I feel like that's what's happening. And in LLE, that last year, I felt like it was like the example of that. And it was giving us that opportunity. And it really showed us our inner fears, our shames, and our guilt. And I feel that that is the biggest thing we have to let go of as we're walking into this next elevated level of self. You got to let go of it. We got to trust the process. And I feel like that is super where I am right now. And guys, there's days when I'm just like pissed, and it's okay. It's okay to be angry. And I feel like for a long time, it was hard for me to even admit that I was angry because it's like, oh, I'm a spiritual being. I need to be loving and be present and always be loving. And it isn't that I'm not always loving, and it isn't that I'm not always present. It's that I need to be present with myself and be okay with being angry. Having a negative emotion isn't a darkness. It's the process of my emotional body so that I can heal the triggered trauma wounds, let go of it, and move on to the next level of myself. There's no reason to feel guilty for feeling angry. But there's also a balance with that. And we don't have to go so far that we're actually hurting somebody else or crossing the law of the free will. So it's a very, very interesting space to exist in. And I feel like Lemurian Life Expo really gave us that example. And so next year, we have Lemurian Life Expo, and it's the Trinity. And so it's really moving into a whole other space. And I feel like this is going to be more the celebration. You know, it's the third year celebrating. We're going to have a lot of live music. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on for kids and for parents and for people that don't have kids and for people that want to do the deep, deep woo woo channeling stuff. And for the people that are like, yeah, that's not my bag. I want to kind of be over here. We're going to have diversity. And of course, always we're going to have the Mexica dancers and indigenous teaching because that's just part of my life. And it doesn't make sense to not have that at an event. So I feel like we gave them a really good
Totally.
example of Lemurian Life Expo, maybe a little bit more than they were bargaining for. Some people might have
Well,
been
some
tuning out.
something too to throw out there. If anybody is like curious, we have all sorts of different videos available for people to watch on our website. Um, I think for at all different ranges and stuff, but we do have the videos from the past few years and the main conferences, and people can check them out and just see what we're all about. And I think that could be a really fun thing to start diving into next year. Like I myself am going to start like revisiting a few things and just seeing what calls me for next year too. And I'm excited. I actually really, really missed it this year. Like it was just, I didn't realize how much of a staple, even after only 2 years, it had become such a staple where I was like, okay, like you just get this like massive dose of like, here's what you're going to be working on next,
I know. And some of the presenters are already starting to promote next year's Lemurian Life Expo.
Love
Did you see
them.
that?
No, I haven't yet, but I love them for that.
Laura are both promoting it on there. And it was like this photo, and I barely recognized myself in it.
Really?
Yeah, I had to look for myself. I was showing Wendy and Jamie today because, they're here.
Yeah.
And Wendy was like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Right?"
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
I'm so
excited for this year.
excited. I know there's some like staple people that are always going to be invited to Lemurian Life Expo, and Wendy Kennedy, Jamie Price, Rob Guthier, Tony Ghazi, and
Mhm.
Aurora or Luna Star. They're
Yep.
always going to be
They're
there.
the homies
They're
for
the
sure.
homies. Wendy and Jamie are going to be on another show, and I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you posted. Right now, we are just enjoying each other. They're here in Shasta, and we're going to have a girls' week, and we're going to be missing Adrianna. As soon as Adrianna popped on, you guys, before we started the show,
You
as
say?
soon he said, "You mean Cliff?"
Oh,
It's
no, sorry.
no one can hear what you're doing, Cliff. So it's like they're like, "Why is she laughing?" But as soon as they saw Adriana, they were like, "Oh man, is Adriana coming up?" I'm like, "No,
Not this time, but next time. But
next."
I'm excited to hear about you guys. I feel like the three of you are such like beautiful powerhouses in your own way. So like the three of you come together and I'm like, I don't know that I want to be like in there, but I want to just be outside observing because I'm sure some like really interesting things happen when you guys get
I'm
together in
taking
like a
them to their
beautiful way.
very first sweat lodge,
Oh, that's amazing.
and I told them about grandma pouring because I'm definitely a grandma pourer. So I kind of gave them a heads up. Um, but I'm very excited, and I love them very much. And when we went to Ireland together, it was amazing. And when I have them on the show, we'll take a deeper dive into that. But man, they're definitely two beings I love very much.
It was so funny when you called me from that trip. You're like, we've had the craziest day. I was like, I can imagine. Like, I can imagine the day that the three of you have had.
Oh,
So yeah,
it's
I'm
hilarious. I cannot
yeah.
wait to share it. I'm not going to share the tea
No,
because
no, we'll
it's a
stop.
moment that's so freaking funny that I'm going to have to share it when they're on the show.
Yeah.
Because it was the most ridiculous, hilarious situation ever. So, and we could go there with you and I, but I think there's TMI with London.
Oh, Yeah, London was walking TMI. Like, I feel like there's just so much about London that was like, wow, we got really close this trip. We really
Almost
got close.
the ER.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time in the car together. We pretty much, we went to London for some business stuff, right? And so we were just in the car, like, my favorite part is like where we were staying versus where we were driving. So we're staying past Stonehenge from London. So we just did this, and Stonehenge is like here, and we're just driving past it like every day, multiple times a
And I
day.
never got to take her to physically go on the property. But if anybody that hasn't been to London or hasn't been to the UK, when you're driving from London to Glastonbury or Bath or any of that, then one of the main highways is literally Stonehenge is right there. It's like cruising on
It
the
was
highway.
crazy.
And so she was like, I just want to see Stonehenge. And I laughed and I was like, oh, we're going to see it a lot.
Yeah. And then at the end, she was like, I'm so sorry you didn't get to actually go in there. I was like, oh, girl, I've seen it enough. Like, we drove past it. We called my dad and my mom at one point. We're like, see, we're all at Stonehenge.
As we're driving by.
Yeah. We showed Hazel. She was like, okay, I don't get it.
Oh my gosh. Well, next time we
but it was
go,
cool.
I want Zoe, who Zoe's also going to be on the show. You'll love Zoe. Anybody that doesn't know
She's
Zoe,
great.
she's awesome.
She's really great.
But she does tours out there. She's from the UK. She's actually from Glastonbury and Bath. And she does these amazing, amazing tours. So next time we go, I want to do one of her things with her, and you go with me, and we'll just her be the teacher and we'll be the students and enjoy and grow and make her laugh a lot.
I would love that. I feel like for the next time we go to the UK, it would be so fun I'd love to be in more of the magic of it. Even though we were in the magic of it, I don't think you're ever not.
We were working our butts off, dude.
We were in the thick of it in like a beautiful way.
Yeah. I mean, we were opening locations. So it was like, 3D, a lot of 3D stuff, but neither of us are very much 3D people. So it was like we're having to like take our 15D and bring it into a 3D.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a really great trip. I'm so grateful for it. It changed my life in such beautiful ways. But yeah, I was like, I want to do more fairy stuff next time.
Okay, but I do want to bring up the rain.
Oh yeah, okay. Which part? There's so many places with the rain.
When we would talk to the rain.
Yes.
I didn't have my glasses. I can't see at night. Yeah. And I was like, I don't have my glasses. She's not driving in the UK, guys. I'm driving in the UK. Yeah. Tiny little roads. Of course, I pick a place in a tiny town because that's where I wanted to stay.
It was beautiful though.
It was amazing. And so I'm driving and I'm like this, and it's raining so hard. And we pull over to services. So now every time we see services, we're like, services, right? It's like gas stations and stores and stuff. So we pull into the services and it's night, and I'm like, okay. I think I was on the phone with Jamie. And I get on the phone with Jamie.
Yes,
and then
you were.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm talking to you, Rain. I'm just asking you with my whole heart and thanking you for not raining until we get back to the flat. Just don't rain. I can barely see. We're driving on teeny tiny roads. Please don't rain. It literally stopped raining. We parked the car. I forgot to ask for good parking. We parked the car. And as soon as we got out of the car,
started raining almost right away. Away.
It was like backup rain. It was like the rain was like, cool, I'm not going to rain for you, but everything I'm not raining, you're going to feel as soon as you get out of that car. And then I looked at Adrianna.
It was nice. It was cleansing. It was good. It was very cleansing.
I was like, damn, I should have asked for it to not rain until we got in the house.
It was so funny. As you started talking, I got this flashback, and it's silly, but of like us and the food too. And like our like driving, trying to get food. Remember that sandwich that we had gotten from Starbucks?
Oh, this is the most grossest thing I've ever
had. Oh my God, no, but my favorite, I like literally like mid-story, you're talking about this like beautiful rain, and mid-story, I just remembered you taking the bite of the sandwich and just going, but and like me just, because you're driving, and I was like, I took my co-pilot seat very seriously. But it was funny. I was like, then I'm like, I have a sandwich. I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's the deal. For those of you people, especially ladies, would love this story. Those of you
Gosh.
people that want to know the story we're dancing around, that really ties a bow on Adrianna putting her hand out and taking things on the drive. It's definitely a TMI girl story. So I want you to go to gettailored.love, go to hello.com and say, I want to hear the story that Adrianna received something in London.
Yes,
And
there
when
was a
you do that,
gift.
if you put that in there and you ask to hear the story, we'll tell you that story privately. I don't want to torture anybody that might be blood finicky, but it's
Disclaimers.
definitely a funny, ridiculous story that you guys will love. So, okay. Now that we've talked about so many freaking things,
Yeah.
I want to tell you guys that I am so excited. And, every one of our shows are going to be different. We're going to have different people. We didn't have a guest today because you're the guest and we're the guest. And we wanted to really let you see us and our quirkiness and our all over the placeness and our full circleness and just in our spiritual beings being humans. And I am so excited. And I want to let you guys know that Cliff is the voice in the sky, and he's very popular.
If we ever pause awkwardly, we're listening to Cliff. We're not frozen. We're just listening to Cliff.
Oh my god. Okay, guys, we're going
funny.
to tell you a little bit of information, and then please, like I said, we are on many different platforms. Go to gettailored.love. You can see what platforms we are on. Pick your favorite platform, respond in it, respond in them all. Share who you are. Share what you're about. Share what you want to hear about. I would love it if you guys told me, "Hey, I want to hear this song as an intro." If it's not something that is already owned by somebody else, or maybe there's words you want or themes you want. We just want this to be interactive, and we really want everybody to get involved. If there's a topic that you want to talk about, any kind of topic, if you want to have a certain speaker on that you really want to have questions or you want to hear what they have to say, give us a shout out. Let us know. This is a we ship. It is not an I ship. It is a we ship, and we're here to do this together. So I want to invite you guys to come to gettailored.love to see what's going on, to communicate who you are. And we will be here live every other Thursday. So 2 weeks from today, we will be live every other to 9. And then every other Thursday that we're not live, we will be releasing pre-recorded episodes from the old membership. And that's because I really want to get all the episodes out. So we're going to start putting each episode out that we're not live. So next week will be a recorded episode. Ruben Langdon will be the co-host with me on those. So you'll know which ones are pre-recorded. And the thing is that's really important too, guys, is, when we're doing the pre-records or the live, the pre-record shows or the live shows, we invite you to interact. We invite you to give us, your feedback, your information on what you want to talk about, what you want to learn about. Maybe you have something to share that we can learn from you. This is a we ship. I think I need to put like a little spaceship with the little we on it
I'm
because
just
it's
waiting
so
for
important.
Cliff to pop
Right,
it.
with a bunch of
I'm
community
waiting
around
for
the
it to
ship.
pop at the bottom.
And it doesn't have to be a spaceship. It could be a big ship in the ocean. But I think that's really important. So we're here every other Thursday live. And tonight is Thursday, August 13th. It's our first show live. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. But next week, we will have recorded shows that you can watch and access and comment on. Also, with the shows that we have coming up and the things that we're going to be doing, um, I invite you guys to really talk about amongst your community and yourselves what it is that you want to see evolve and change. Whatever it is, it could be anything. I don't care if it's, hey, Heather, I would like to have a new brand of ice cream. I love ice cream. I want a new brand of ice cream. Because a lot of times when we're thinking about something that's small, we don't realize how important it actually is. And sometimes having a new brand of ice cream for a person that's addicted to ice creams like Ben or chocolate chip It's a big thing. It's something that is important to them. But maybe that new brand of ice cream is only ice cream at all. Maybe it's reflecting something in you that you really want to express, and to speak about it in a smaller way is an easier way for you to communicate. So I just want you to know, like, this is a safe space, and we're here to be community and to love each other. Also, please be kind when you're making comments. If there's something that's going on that's triggering you, privately message it on our hello.com. We really want to keep these channels open for friendliness and community and connection. And if you're feeling triggered and you want to communicate that with us, I'm super open to that. And you can communicate your triggered feelings or however you're feeling in a positive way. Please just do it on hello.com so that we can communicate with you and be the support that you need. And I love you all, and I'm super, super freaking excited about what we're about to do. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
Hello at, isn't it hello at gettailored.love?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello at
Hello.
gettailored.love. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, not hello.com, hello at gettailored.love. My
Yes.
bad.
But the one thing that I want to throw out to you that Ben just reminded us of, because he said hello at Perfect Balance, and not to take us down another rabbit hole, but I just want to offer people to go check out perfectbalance.love. It is the product line. I did just redo the website and we want feedback. I want you to explore and play. And she makes beautiful products and teas. And so I'm just going to do a little undercover plug because it's a beautiful site. So with beautiful medicine on it. So perfectbalance.love, gettailored.love, and I think you said
Lemurian
everything.
Life Expo
Lemurian Life Expo. Yeah.
and a portal to ascension.org and New Living Expo and Awakening Code Radio and Revival Beauty if you're in the Bay and you want to go get beautified.
myrevivalbeauty.love.
Cliftonite Acoustics. Cliftonite actually on Spotify in title, so you can go listen to his music, which will be evolving and changing. Cliff is moving here to Mount Shasta to really expand the music part of the world. So of our world, should I say, from California to Canada. So definitely, you guys, if you're doing the music scene, there's a company called Thank You Distributions, and there's a production studio that is really welcoming new and upcoming artists and artists that have been doing it forever and just don't know where to go to really put themselves out there. So just seriously, tell us what you want to do. Let's freaking be community. And above all else, let's play. Don't you want to play? I want my life to be playful and fun. So how can we do that together?
I love it.
You love it.
I
I
love
love
it.
it.
Sounds good. This
All
was
right,
fun.
thank you guys. This was
Yeah.
super
Thank
fun. We're
you.
going to take deeper dives every week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Get Taylor.love.
See you later.
Bye.